Guys, thank you so much for coming today. I appreciate it. There's like 4,000 people here. It's amazing. Yes, now I am here trying my best to cross this state. This is FullSharpe stop number 24. We have to get to 64 total counters as I do every single year. And I keep doing this because I know it matters, right? I know that we have to fix this state. It's an amazing, beautiful state, and we've got to make things right. I'm here at American Legion. I appreciate that we've come here. And I want to bring up something important. How do we re-engage this state? One of the most important ways we do that is through innovation. Innovation. You might say innovation. What are you talking about? We need like government jobs and stuff. Well, one thing New York has is a lot of government jobs. I'm not against government jobs. I think government jobs are great. If they pay your bills, that's awesome. The problem with just having government jobs is it acts as if government's the only way to make work, and now you become dependent upon government jobs. There's a problem with that. If any society is dependent upon one type of job too much, that's a problem, right? That job goes away, everything gets crushed. We don't want that. We want a society that has all types of jobs, government jobs included, but also local jobs, also big business jobs, franchise jobs, all types of jobs that we can pick and choose from. One way we do that is innovation. I'm going to bring up something that's happening right now. Kind of controversial. Cannabis. I say cannabis. We legalized cannabis, right? We legalized it. What's happening right now with cannabis in New York State? Well, now we're going to have an Office of Cannabis Management. Have you heard this? It's true. An Office of Cannabis. And you might go, Larry, it's good. It's cannabis. You want an Office of Cannabis Management. What I would ask you is, cannabis has been in the black market for at least 200 years, if not more, in America. Where are all the deaths from cannabis? Yeah, none. So now we're going to legalize it. So we're going to legalize it. What do we need? Regulation. When it was in the black market, nobody was dying. So now it's coming in, and we need regulation. And I say, Larry, you just want everyone to go smoke weed? No. To be forward, I don't smoke weed. I'm as square as they come. I use caffeine. That's the only drug I use. Nothing else. I don't even drink. Don't smoke. None of that stuff. I'm as square as they come. I always say Mormons have me beat because Mormons don't use caffeine, right? But Mormons have me beat, except for that. I'm the squarest guy out there. So why do I care about cannabis being not so hard regulated? Because you're a crazy libertarian? No. The number one reason is because I want local farmers to be able to have craft grows. That's why. Right now, if you go off to get a cannabis license, it's probably going to cost you about $250,000. What local farmer can afford that? None. Who's going to actually become our cannabis farmers? Do you know who's going to become our cannabis farmers? Real estate developers. I'm not kidding. This is going to come in. Two largest lobbies in this state. Real estate, finance. Who's going to make money off cannabis? Real estate, finance. Yeah. I don't mind if they make money. I'm fine. Make money. I like people making money. Please make money. It's awesome. Money's nice. Gives you lots of opportunities. Please make money. What about the little person, the little guy, the small farmer? How about them? Well, Larry, how do we know it'll work? I know it'll work. Beer and wineries. We saw it. Coffee shops. We saw it happen in this state. Craft brews. Why can't we have craft grows? Craft wines. Why can't we have craft grows? Why can't we have local people, local farmers who decide they want to use cannabis as a local crop to create some specialized plant that makes people happy, takes care of their pain or whatever, helps them get off their addiction problems, whatever they want to do, localize it here and make their own money? Why can't we allow those farmers to be treated like small businesses in every way? Why can't those small farmers get small business loans? Why can't they get investors like in the business? Why can't they build a retail or wholesale site, a wholesale site on their land without massive regulations? Why not? Treat them like small businesses and watch them grow. Larry, not every farmer wants to grow cannabis. I know. Some will. And for those who don't, there'll be less of the other crop, so the price will go up for that farmer. Isn't that good? But this also works, by the way, not just for farmers. This also works for dairy farmers. Why aren't we allowing a whole lot more craft grows? Craft dairy products. More craft cheeses, craft ice creams, all those types of things. We treat them like small businesses. Dairy farmers who don't want to be part of the price taking can be more of the price makers if they want to. Up to them, they'll choose. Some won't, some will. Instead, we ask big yogurt companies to come to our state when we have dairy farmers all over the place. So we beg and give big yogurt tons of money to come to our state versus just allowing our small farmers to create craft products if they want to. If they create the craft products on their own, again, not everybody will want to. Some just want to sell milk. That's fine. Sell milk if you want to. But if a bunch of people decide to do craft dairy products, there'll be less milk in the market. What does that mean? Higher pricing for the milk. Again, it works. Innovation can work here. It can work here. Cannabis, as I said, but also dairy farming, of course. But I'm still not done. If we look at the cannabis side and we say, you know what? I don't just want to allow the farmers to do it, but on top of that, I want to allow, if you're someone, say you're a bit older, you've got some chronic pain, you got to go on an opioid, or you got to suffer, or you go to an illegal cannabis product. What if the cannabis products could be cheaper, or better yet, you could grow your own medicine in your backyard if you want to? What if you're poor? What if you can't afford it? Grow your medicine in your backyard, get rid of some of your pain, help out your kids if they've got an addiction problem, and get your life back on track. Now all of a sudden people are rock and rolling again. The amount of people who I met when I was running for governor last time who would come up to me, and usually they were older women. Usually they were women who were over 50, usually happen to be. They come up to me and say, Larry, I really hope you win. I said, why? Because I want you to make cannabis legal. This is before they legalized it. And I said, really? She goes, yeah, happen all the time. It's the only way I can sleep. I have so much pain. I asked my daughter or my son, whoever it might be, to go buy it. I'm afraid they're going to go to jail. I don't want the opioid. I'm scared. So they suffer, or they go into the black market. I don't want New Yorkers to suffer. I don't want New Yorkers to go in the black market. I want them to innovate and find new ideas. But that's at a local level. I'll keep going. Why aren't we having now all our farmers and all businesses, very simple rule, Wyoming already does it. If you sell your product only within New York State, you are immune from all federal regulatory bodies. You're not selling across state lines, you're selling within New York State. You must be transparent though, of course. People know, hey, we're not following federal guidelines. If that bothers you, then please don't buy our product. If you're okay with it, please buy our product. Some people will go through hoops. They want to make sure it's all USDA, it's all FDA, everything is federal. Okay, if that's you, you choose. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you're okay supporting your local farmer. Maybe you're okay supporting a local small business. Maybe you're okay with that. Allowing local people to grow again. I focus on the entrepreneur and the farmer class a lot when I talk, because that'll make people stay. I want people to stay in this state. They should see innovation. They should see opportunity. But at a larger level, I'll go even larger. I brought this up last time. The Erie Canal. Erie Canal does one thing very well in New York State. Smell bad. Really good at that. Super good at smelling bad. That's about all it's good at. We have not fixed that thing in any way, shape, or form. Why? The government runs it right now. Costs the government about $100 million a year, including maintenance, capital projects, to run the Erie Canal. We make about $4 million a year. That's not good math, by the way. You can figure that one out without Common Core. That's just like regular math. You can figure that one out. That's not a good deal. Put in 100 million, get back 4 million. Why are we doing this? We should revamp the entire thing. Well, why is going to cost money? You know me better than that. You know I'm never going to come up with some taxation for you guys. You know that. No, of course not. There are about 3 dozen locks on the canal. About 3 dozen going across this state. About 500 and some odd miles. It's three dozen locks. Why aren't we sponsoring every one of those locks? Why isn't every one of those locks? Why don't we release the naming rights for that? Why isn't that a McDonald's lock and a Chili's lock and a Staples lock and a Home Depot lock? Each one is a separate lock, just as if it was a specific rest stop on the highway, which is not bulldozed. Maybe actually working. Half hours of bulldozed now. But yes, if you've noticed, half of them are bulldozed. Yes. So actually working. They run it, they own it, they pay for it, they upkeep it. Now, once you have that, all of a sudden, people go there as almost like touristy. You can go to each one. You could cross the state, enjoying the state as you crossed it. Larry, how are you going to cross it? I'm going to tell you how. Hovercraft.
Yes.
Yes, hovercraft. Larry, you're crazy, hovercraft. No, I was in the Marine Corps 30 years ago. When I was in the Marine Corps 30 years ago, we had hovercraft that can cross the ocean. They can take it across the ocean. I'm sure it's better now. That was 30 years ago. I'm saying you put hovercraft on it. Larry, how are you going to put hovercraft on the Erie Canal? I don't know. I'm not an engineer, but that's why we have smart kids who would stay here, go to places like RIT, who would learn how to do it, and they would stay here and figure this out. They would actually figure this out. It's an engineering task. It is a big goal. How do we put hovercraft on it? Larry, hovercraft are expensive. I don't care. Staples going to have the name. It's going to be the Pepsi hovercraft. What do I care? They're going to pay for it happily. Somebody wants to have the name on a hovercraft that goes up and down New York State. You know that's true. I'd want one. You get on it. I would. You would. I get on it too. That's the point. People get on it. People go up and down. They would do things. People want to stay here. I would ask you in this state, what's the big project that motivates people to stay? Yeah, nothing. We don't have one. We don't have one. Imagine if we did. Imagine if we had some big ideas, some big plans, where now your son or your daughter goes to college, they're 22, 23, and they don't go, Mom, Dad, I'm out. I'm leaving. I'm going to Tennessee. I'm going to Arizona. I'm going to Florida. I'm going to Texas, where the opportunity is. Imagine they don't do that. Do it now. Happens all the time. New York is so oppressive, it literally breaks up families. Literally breaks up families. Every one of you in this room, I'm 100% sure, knows someone who's left. Is that true? Is there anyone who does not know someone who's left? Yeah, isn't that embarrassing? I do that in every single room that I go to every single year, and no one ever says no. That's how bad our state is. No one says no. We can fix it, but not by going, we're going to just spend more money in taxes, but by having real innovation. Innovation in cannabis, innovation in the Erie Canal, having big ideas that excite people, changing education. And I go even further. Why aren't we building nuclear power plants in North Country? Well, Larry, nuclear power is dangerous. Old school it is, not new school. But we wouldn't know new school. We wouldn't know Gen 4. You know why? Because we don't bother doing it. We instead make sure that government supplements everything instead of letting private companies start building things. Imagine for a second, we put 3 nuclear power plants with 3 separate overlapping grids in North Country. Cyber-proof, 3 separate grids. Energy sufficient, not buying energy anymore, pumping it out. Now we got all that energy. With all that energy, you chunk a bunch of energy downstate, and you fill up a desalination plant in New York City. No more water problems. No more pumping water pumps into New York City. New York City makes its own water. Why wouldn't it? Big old ocean right there. Long Island Sound got tons of water. Desalination plant right there. Takes care of that right there. Done deal. And we have so much energy. We can take that energy, and now we can have blockchain mining, which is already in North Country, but it's too damn expensive. All of a sudden now it's cheap and green. New jobs in North Country. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be nice? Mm-hmm. And we could sell the extra energy to create a fund. You know who does that now? Alaska, Singapore, Norway. You know what Norway does with all its extra funds? Pays for healthcare. Imagine if we get a lot of fund that comes, the money that comes from a nuclear power plant that we sell off, and now we start paying Medicaid, Medicare. Imagine all the money that your county spends on Medicaid, Medicare, gone. No more unfunded mandate. No more unfunded mandate for Medicaid, Medicare. Gone. Imagine that. Take that off our budget. That's $60 billion, maybe 70, gone from our budget of $212 billion, 70 billion gone. You do that, you could literally end the income tax. You could end the income tax in 4 years. Imagine ending the income tax in 4 years. Larry, you're talking crazy stuff. You're talking real ideas and real solutions. Yes. What I'm not doing is going, oh, I'm a Democrat, so Republican bad. I'm a Republican, so Democrat bad. Yell at the other guy because he or she is worse than I. I know I killed someone, but he killed 3 people. He's way worse. So vote for me. The glory of a third party, the glory of the Libertarian Party is we actually have answers and solutions. You may not like them. You may think some of the things that are wrong. Larry, I don't like that idea. Larry, it's a bad idea. Okay, because what you're talking about, ideas. And if you tell me a better idea, I'm with you. I'm with you. You got a better idea? I'm in. I just want to fix it. That's what I want to do. I want to fix it. Ask a Democrat or Republican to fix it. What will they say? Fund. Democrats say fund, Republicans say invest. What they mean? More taxes and fees. Every single time. We've lost 2 million New Yorkers in the past 11 years. Yet our budget keeps going up and up and up. Yet again, don't need Common Core to know, more taxes for you. More taxes for you. There are 4 parts to all my policies you will hear consistently. In everything I do. Piece number 1, never any new taxes, fines, or fees. Ever, no exception. You never see that in any of my policies. Number 2, no force. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to. No worries. I don't hate the player, I hate the game. I change the environment so that people do the right thing. Some won't. You heard my policies about the idea of the farmers. You don't want to be a cannabis farmer? Don't be one. I'm not forcing you. I'm giving you a good opportunity, which some people will take. You don't want to make craft yogurts? Don't do it. No force. I'm giving you a great opportunity so that you can. I'm opening up the opportunities for you and encouraging you. 3, whenever I deal with people, try to help people out, I focus on 2 types of people. The working poor and the middle class. That's who I focus on every single time. Everything I talk about is trying to help out the working poor and the middle class. Larry, you sound like you're a corporatist. Nope. If you remember when I was about New York City, I said, what we should do? We should lease out naming rights to the big bridges in New York City. Yes, I'm all about leasing naming rights out. Why? Because Republicans say I want less taxes. Democrats say I want corporations to pay. I'll do both. I'll give you both. The corporation leases the naming rights on the bridge. They pay us $100 million a year for that bridge. The name goes on. Now it's the Staples Bridge. They're paying for it. Isn't that awesome? Great. You're a Democrat. You want corporations to pay? Just pay. See, you win, Democrat. Life is good. Republican, I want lower taxes. We can do that because now they're paying for the bridge and they're covering the maintenance costs. No tolls on the bridge, and that money goes to the MTA, which means less taxes in New York. Both win. Crazy. But it can actually work. That helps the working poor and middle class. How? Who uses those bridges? The working poor and middle class. The wealthy live in Manhattan already. And the very poor aren't working. So it helps those too. So when I help the very poor, when I focus on them, I'll tell you why. Who actually helps the poor the best? The working poor and middle class. Those are the people who go down to the soup kitchens. Those are the people who give someone a second chance. Those are the people who care about the poor. Those are the people who have relatives who are very poor. They're the ones who actually help. You help those two, you wind up helping them by default. Why not help the wealthy? Why would I? They're wealthy. They're fine. They're fine. They're wealthy. They're good. Last piece, 4 parts I said, right? Last one is, whenever I'm talking about helping businesses, I always focus on the entrepreneur class over the corporate class. Corporate class is fine, but corporate class worries about top line. They're international. They worry about stock prices and stuff like that. They don't care about us. I'm not mad at them for it. That's the way they play. That's the game they play. Fine, they play that game. The entrepreneur cares. The entrepreneur cares about local. The entrepreneur gives people second chances. The entrepreneurs way people up and down in the social ladder. You help the entrepreneur class, the working poor, and the middle class. You will have a better society. You will have happier people. That's what I'm working on. This is what I wanted to talk about. Hope that was helpful. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Happy to take any comments or any questions, even if somebody didn't talk about it. I just want to talk about what I thought was important, but please bring up whatever you like. The things that I find all the time is when I hear politicians talk about New York State, they say consistently, the #1 thing people care about is COVID. That's not what I hear. COVID's important. It is important. Not what I hear is most important. I always hear 1 or 2 things, and the top to bottom, they swap back and forth. Education, economy. I hear that constantly. Education, economy. Education, economy. Someone cares more about their job or the economy, cares more about education of the kids. That's the 2 big things I hear. I hear COVID as always lower on the list. But you tell me, what are you guys concerned about?
You wanna explain your education thing?
Education plan?
Oh yeah, I like that.
Sure. All right. The education plan is detailed. It'll be a little bit. Let me see. Do you have a quick question before I go to that? You have a quick question?
Yeah. So, scenario, say you became governor tomorrow.
Tomorrow, man. I mean, that's a coup. That's a coup. I don't know. Do I have to do it tomorrow? Can I wait till the actual election day instead? Okay.
I believe 1.5 million in New York State. And that number is going down, much slower than the population is going down. What would you specifically look at for the scope to reduce the size if you would do that?
I love that. That's gonna go right into what you're talking about. Yes.
And,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Also, the size and the scope. and
Yeah.
the budget.
Yes. The biggest issue that we have actually is the budget. That's actually the biggest issue. People don't know that because they think it's other things. The budget affects everything. The reason why the state controls so much is because so much money goes to the state, right? The state controls you with dollars. A lot of people say, well, why don't the schools just do this? Or why don't the hospitals just do that? Because they won't get paid. That's why the government pays them. So it controls everything. Well, they don't have to. This is not a law. This is a mandate from the government, a mandate from this. They don't have to do it. Legally, you're right. They could not do it. They don't want to, but they're not going to get paid. So they can't function. So the budget does matter. We give you several things I'll work on. I'll start with education. I'll give you an education plan and then how to pay for it and how we save money. Number one, education right now in New York State is K through 12. It should be K through 10. Now, legally in New York State, because of our Constitution, education is a right, and we have to pay for 1 through 12. We don't have to pay by the Constitution for K, but we do anyway through other things. We create laws, mandates, and we pay for K anyway. And in some places we pay for pre-K. That's just not in the Constitution. So you must pay for 1 through 12. I'm saying we should go K through 10. Why? 12th grade for most kids is smoking weed, playing video games, study hall. That's what it is for most kids now. It's a waste of their time and energy. They shouldn't even be doing it. It's a waste of time. Then they go off to college. It's 13th grade. Takes them 6 years to graduate, and because of that, they have $100,000, $50,000 in debt, and they're working at Starbucks. It is not the right answer for us. It's a bad idea. Well, why would we do this? Larry, I've been doing this forever. We have been. This has been a bad system for years. But why would we do it? Because the high schools are incentivized by college placement. That's how they get their money. They get paid from that, right? You get high college placement, you get more money. That's awesome. Not just that, you have a bunch of bureaucrats who sit in all the school districts figuring this stuff out, getting paid to make sure we follow federal guidelines, state guidelines. It's a bad system. It does not work. Ask an average guidance counselor, you know, your kid wants to be a plumber, your kid wants to be a carpenter, kid wants to be a roofer, whatever the case may be. What does the high school guidance counselor say? Don't do that. That's for dumb kids. That's for bad kids. Don't do that. You got to go to college for smart kids. To be successful, you got to go to college. That's a lie. You don't have to go to college to be successful. You can be. I'm not against college. But people can be successful going to college and not going to college. You can be successful either way. You don't have to go to college to be successful. And if you don't want to go, why should you go? If you don't want to go now, go later. Go to college when you're 20, 30, 40, 50. Who cares? Whenever you make a change in your life. Why does college have to be for someone who's 19 years old? It's an outdated system. It doesn't work at all. It hurts. It doesn't help. So now look at the average kid in New York State. Kid goes to college, does what their mom or dad or guidance counselor says, gets $100,000 in debt. The average kid takes 6 years to graduate, average. 24 years old, never had a job. Now they have a degree, it's useless because the colleges have no incentive to give you a good degree. None. Zero incentive to give a good degree at all. They just give you a piece of paper. You now have it. Awesome. I guess I'm going to go work at Starbucks as a barista with $100,000 in debt. I see it all the time in New York City. All the time. All the time. The other kid didn't do that. The kid went against what the guidance counselor said and became a plumber. Went to BOCES or whatever is the equivalent school where they are. Let him be a plumber. They're 24 years old. They make at least $70,000 a year, if not 100. No debt. Who's the dumb kid again? I've forgotten which one is the dumb kid. Yeah, this is what we need to do. Not just that. Look in our state. We desperately need tradesmen in this state. The average tradesman in this state is 50 years old. The average tradesman should be 35. 50. How many 56-year-olds you've seen out there that still got a hammer in their hand? Right? You know what I'm talking about? They still got a hammer in their hand. You're 50, 60, you should be training a 35-year-old to put the hammer in his hand. You shouldn't have the hammer in your hand, but you got it in your hand because you can't find anybody. So what do? We bring on foreign labor. What else can we do? So we bring on foreign labor. Meanwhile, the kids who are born here go to Tennessee or Florida or Arizona. What sense does that make? So we're doing that. You see it? I'm not making this up. You see it everywhere, happening all the time. What if we change that? What if we instead said, you go to school, #1 in school, no more standardized testing until high school. Larry, we won't know what level the kids are reading, or why does that matter? So now we know how bad they are? New York State spends between $26,000 and $28,000 per kid, per student, and we never rank more than like 25th out of 50. Our system is bad. It does not work, and we spend tons of money on it. And our answer is give it more money. It's a terrible idea. So change that whole system. Instead, you look at every single school district, no standardized testing, national testing at all. Instead, K through 10, you start their testing when they're in high school. The testing in high school is done for one thing: aptitude. What are you good at? What do you want to do? What's your life going to be like? Focus on that. Standardized testing has zero, and I mean zero. You can't show me one study that tells me I'm wrong. Zero effect on how good you're going to be in life. Doesn't mean you're going to be successful in life. It means you're going to be good at taking tests. Doesn't mean you're going to be successful. You might be, you might not be. The one exception I always bring up, academia. If you want to be a professor, be good at taking tests. But unless you don't want to be a professor, it doesn't really matter. Professors should be good at taking tests. That's it. Besides that, it's not important. That's what matters. So 10th grade, you start taking, 8th, 9th grade, taking testing to see what's your aptitude. Then 10th grade comes, you're 16 years old, take a test. Did you pass that test? High school diploma. Done. High school diploma. You passed it. Was that private school, home school, public school? I don't care. Pass. You're good. But Larry, what about our Regents diplomas? We have a board of Regents and Regents diplomas. Yeah, I hear it. And they're useless. They mean nothing. Our Regents diploma plan in New York State is a joke. It is an embarrassment. It should be go away tomorrow. It is useless. A colossal waste of time. No one has, this has never happened. I'm an employer. Let me see your resume. Who? New York State Regents high school diploma? You are hired. That has never happened ever. Will never happen. Nobody cares about your Regents diploma. It is useless. It is a colossal waste of time. Nobody cares. It stresses our kids, wastes time and energy. Get rid of it. Now you're 16, you graduate. But Larry, they still have 2 years left. You're right, they do. When I was in the Marine Corps, when I got out, they gave me the GI Bill. The GI Bill gave me several $100,000, and I think it was 10 years or so to spend it. I'm gonna copy that model here. You get $20,000 in 5 years. Good luck. You can go to trade school if you want to. You know what? I want to be a plumber. I want to be a tradesman. Go. You can go to 2-year school. Guess how much that 2-year school is going to cost? $20,000. How do I know that? That's what the government's going to pay. That's how the systems work. They will simply find ways that will work for $20,000. Well, $20,000 is a lot of money. No, we spend $26,000 per year per kid. Now we're paying 10 grand. We're saving 30 grand per kid. 30 grand per kid. There's over 400,000 students in New York State that are 11th to 12th grade. Do the math. That's a lot. That's more than a very important, it's over $6 billion that we would save. Why does that matter? That's how much money the federal government gives us every year, $6 billion. So now I create a system to where I don't need the federal government's money. That's how I'm going to save money. I don't require that money anymore. If I don't require that money anymore, the government can't control me anymore. What does that mean? Localized control of your school board. Localized control. Larry, I want civics in my school. Larry, I'd like home ec in my school. I'd like shop in my school. You can't have that now. You know why you can't have that? It's not on the standardized test. The standardized test is how the schools get paid by the federal government and state governments. They're not going to waste their time with things like civics and stuff like that. That's not in the test. They teach you the test. You think I'm making it up? Ask any teacher. They'll tell you. That goes away. Put what you want in your school. You want home ec, you want farming in your school. Good, do it. I don't mind. You want marksmanship in your school. I don't care. Whatever you want to do, put it in your school. It's your local school. You get it back again right away. Federal guidelines are not there anymore. Irrelevant. Not just that. Now a bunch of schools pop up. Trade schools will pop up, costing $20,000. How do I know they'll pop up? Because banks will give loans to start them. How do I know that? Because what do banks love more than anything else? Guaranteed government money. Yes, they do. They love guaranteed government money. That's their number one thing. The number two thing they love is transaction fees. Man, banks love transaction fees. Number one's guaranteed government money. Number two is transaction fees. So they get guaranteed government money. They'll give loans out. You're getting guaranteed money. You get kids in, you get 20 grand. They love that. We'll start building schools like there's in a mall. Private schools will pop up. It'll be, say, you know, your kid wants to be a lawyer. Go instead to a prep school. So they can prep them for law, prep them for doctors, whatever. It'll be prep schools for each. What does that mean? That means 11th to 12th grade, all the kids who will be in those schools are kids who want to be in those schools. Think about that if you're a teacher. Your entire class wants to be there. Discipline issues go away. Bullying goes away. Unhappy kids goes away. Happier kids, happier parents, happier teachers. The kids who don't want to be in school won't be in school. They'll go get a job. Why not? Larry, 16, get a job? Yeah. How about have a work ethic? I'm serious. If you hire, you know what I'm talking about. If you're working, you know what I'm talking about. The only times I've had people tell me, Larry, I'll hire anybody with a work ethic. Doesn't matter, anybody, I'll hire them. I had a guy when I told a story once, he said, Larry, I had 12 interviews this week. 6 were no-shows, 4 were late. So he told me. 1 in 6 showed up on time to their interview. How about a work ethic? Learn it when you're 16. Larry, you're asking kids who are 16 to make decisions. Yes, I am. Yes. Start making decisions at 16. But Larry, they make mistakes. Yeah, they will. And they make mistakes at 16, not 26, which is happening now. Now they're making mistakes at 26. So they had to make hardcore decisions until 26 now. So now when they screw up at 26, they got to come home to mom, come home to dad. When they're 16, they're already with mom and dad. It's fine. Make a mistake when you're 16. The price for failure at 16 is nothing compared to the price for failure at 26. Nothing. You learn something. You try to become something. What if you're going to be a tradesman? Depending on what you're trying to do, you could literally come out with your license when you're 18 and go back to work, or at least be ready for an apprentice program, depending on what trade you're going to be in, how that works, right? But either way, you're rocking and rolling to go out and make money when you're 18 years old. Wow, that's good. Maybe decide I'm going to do my trade for 10 years and now start business, so I'll go back to school for business. Good for you. Now you're going for a purpose. You should go to college when you have a purpose. That's awesome. Go there and so you can start a business or whatever you want to do that. I love it. Or you're tired of swinging a hammer, you want to become an accountant. Go to school for accounting, become an accountant. Life is good. Do what you want to do. Be happy. That's what you do for education. That's how you change the entire system and make things better. You'll save tons of money because a lot of kids won't even use it. That 60 billion will go down to about 48 billion right off the bat. No federal funds, which means a whole bunch of administrators are going to be fired. The average teacher in New York makes about $80,000 a year, give or take. The average administrator makes over 200, about 200, almost $200,000 a year. The average. Some make $300,000, $400,000 a year. There are districts right now where there are more administrators than teachers, and they work in a building, but they don't even see kids anymore. What do most of those people do? They make sure things work for the federal and state government. Once you don't need that money anymore, what happens? Get rid of them. Larry, are you talking about firing administrators? Yes. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. But I won't fire them. You will. I'm not going to fire them. You will. Because we need administrators. We do need them. I don't know which ones, though. You do. We do need principals and vice principals. We need administrators. We do. We got to make sure stuff works. Trains got to go on time. It can't just be teachers. I get it. I don't know which ones, though. But imagine if all of a sudden in your district, you had 15 or 20 or 30 of them with no real purpose. You can now pick the ones that work, put them in the right places, and fire the ones that don't work. They're gone. Have a nice day. When they go, what have I just done? Create a massive surplus. You can either hire more teachers if you want to, give raises if you want to, save money if you want to, whatever the case may be. Larry, save money? Yes, because here's my next piece. How do I pay for this? Right now, so through property tax. And grants, tons of grants. Writing, grants, gifts, all those types of things. Government decides it's okay if you get something. Grifting with your cronies to build football fields and such, all that kind of stuff is common. And of course, if you don't spend your money, you lose it. So it just invites corruption. It begs you to be corrupt. Begs you to be corrupt. Imagine if instead, the money came directly from the state. Constitution says we have to pay for it. Doesn't say we have to pay for it from property tax. Direct from the state. Out of Albany, how many kids do you have in your district? Times, we'll say 18,000. There's your check. Good luck. But Governor Sharp, what if we don't spend it? You could save it. What? Yeah. You could save your money and you could build your football field whenever you want to build your football field, not when some cronies have a plan for a grant from the state to make sure some construction company that my buddy owns can build football fields, which is what happens now. Instead, build it when you want to, whenever you want to do it. Good luck. Give tons of money. Life will be good. Not just that. Larry, I want a private school. I want homeschool. Awesome. What if we had credit for that? Where's the money come from? Imagine for a moment, and yes, I'm talking innovation. You've heard me talk about nothing but ideas and innovation. Imagine if New York State had its own currency. What? Yes, it is legal. There are states who do. I think South Dakota has it. I think Utah has their own currency. You can have your own currency as long as the internal doesn't go across state lines. Imagine we base it upon either gold or cryptocurrency. Depending on which one makes the most sense. I'm not sure which one makes the most sense right now. One of those two. Take that currency, make $50 billion of it, and that's what pays for education. Internally. Larry, why would you do that? Because if you're paying for it internally, people would have to use it. It's $50 billion. You want a piece of that? You take our currency. But Larry, they don't want to spend our currency. That's okay. Banks will transfer it. For what? A transaction fee. Yes, which is what banks love. Banks love transaction fees. So the financial community will get behind this in a heartbeat. We'd be very happy to do this. Yeah, we have to transfer the New York State coin into dollars for a minimal fee. Yes, you do. Every day. Teachers will want to get paid in dollars, won't they? So we'll transfer the money in dollars. Boom, there it goes. I've just pulled $60 billion out of our budget. Our budget goes from $212 billion to $150 billion right there, done. Not just that, more importantly, if that happens, do we need school tax anymore? No. If you get rid of school tax, the average New Yorker, their property tax is cut by about half. Depending on where you live, it's about half. Imagine your property tax being cut in half. Imagine how many retirees would actually stay. Right now, they're taking their pensions and they're going to Florida, Arizona, and Tennessee, and they're spending the money that we're giving them that they earn here in another state. I don't like that. I'm happy to have pensions. I'm glad you earned a pension. Please spend it in my state. Don't spend it in another state. Spend it in here. Let it go back into the economy. That way is where you grew it from. Put it back into our economy. Spend it here. I'm not mad at them, though. As I said, I don't hate the player. I hate the game. The game is a bad game. We fix the game, they'll stay happily, and they'll spend their pensions here. That's what I want them to do. They'll retire here. Not just that, rent stabilize immediately, if not go down. Now the youngsters have to go back home, live with mom or dad. They can afford to live on their own because the rent's just stabilized and went down. Not too shabby, huh? Imagine that. Changes everything. Now from the coin, we can now give out a credit to people who want to start private schools and homeschool. $4,000 credit for each. Imagine how that would change everything. It makes schools compete against each other, and you can have private schools if you want to, or homeschool, and have a little bit of cash. Not a bad deal. More freedom, and the dollar follows the kid. And the dollars follow the kid. Changes everything. That is changing education. That's how you pay for it. That's how you change it. That's how you lower everything and make everything better. Did I answer that part of your question? Did I answer your question?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go one step further. Remember that fund I talked about? Go ahead.
We only had this space reserved until 8.
Oh, do we have to bail?
And yeah, the people who are making it available to the second.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. I will see you all very soon.